Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony Lascala, and welcome to the webinar, where we will be discussing the evolution of endpoint protection with advanced threats. Before we dive in, a little bit about myself. I come from a practitioner and cybersecurity leadership background, most recently having served as the director of cyber and vCISO for an MSP, and as a SOC manager before that. Today, I'm SentinelOne's technical evangelist, where I have the opportunity to build and present conversations like the one we'll be having today. As we are chatting today, feel free to drop any questions you have in the Q&A box, and we'll try to answer all of them. Without further ado, let's look at the agenda for today's webinar. So today we're going to be navigating the complex world of endpoint protection and helping you understand the evolution of cybersecurity threats and the solutions designed to combat them. We'll start by talking about the evolution of cybercrime to understand why these endpoint protections are necessary before diving into the basics. From there, we will explore the introduction of EDR and its eventual relegation to legacy EDR to make way for modern EDR. Next, we'll talk about the why modern EDR is the most current and best option for endpoint protection. Finally, we'll wrap up with some closing remarks and questions from the audience. On to the evolution of cybercrime. Now, initially, threats were mostly adware and disruptive attacks, not world-ending, but the need for an antivirus solution was clear. Once threat actors realized the potential of cybercrime, whether financial gain, political pressure, or cause-based hacktivism, things began to change, and advancements in offensive tooling soared. This marked the transition from nuisance to threat for cybercrime. Today, we face fully funded threat operations, often state-backed and organized like standard businesses. On the other side of the race are the cyber defenses that evolved and had to evolve to meet the new threats. Things moved quickly, and this rapid expansion has left organizations struggling to keep pace in a complex market of security solutions. The endpoint protection landscape is further complicated by the persistence of older security products and varying terminology such as antivirus or AV, endpoint protection platforms or EPP, next generation antivirus or NGAV, endpoint detection and response or EDR, and the newest modern endpoint detection and response or modern EDR. This session is designed to help you navigate this landscape and help you make the right decision for your environment's endpoint security. First up, we're going to be talking about antivirus. Now, antivirus was the first endpoint protection solution to really hit the world stage as these threats were evolving. At its core, antivirus solutions provide signature-based detection. This means that the security solution scans files against a library of known malicious file signatures. If a match is found, it's detected and typically quarantined or cleaned. AV was ideal for the early days of the internet when malware was nascent, and it's still applicable today for basic or really well-known attacks. However, AV does not constitute a full endpoint protection solution in the current threat landscape. Particularly lacking in detecting zero-day attacks or advanced persistent threats, AV just is not at the level that we need it to be to face the current threats. Next came NGAV, or Next Generation Antivirus. As threat actors evolved their tactics and tools, relying solely on known malicious signatures became insufficient. NGAV was developed to identify novel threats that could bypass traditional signature-based protections through behavioral analysis and the integration of machine learning into endpoint protection. By analyzing system behavior on top of signature scanning, NGAV could identify an anomalous behavior from threats without known signatures, such as ransomware. While still required for a holistic security posture, signature-based scanning alone was no longer sufficient, and a combination of signature-based scanning, behavioral analysis, and proactive prevention was needed to keep pace with evolving threats. And that's when we really saw EPPs come into play. Endpoint protection platforms, or EPP, they were really focused on attack surface reduction. So EPPs emerged to address areas really not adequately covered by AV and really focused on prevention. While often confused with AV, EPP focuses on preventing attacks by reducing the attack surface and controlling devices. This includes features like firewall controls, USB port blocking, script controls, and other endpoint setting configurations that limit avenues for malicious files to reach your computer's operating system. EPP is a critical security feature that should be deployed in tandem with an AV solution. And this is true still to today. You still need an endpoint protection platform of some sort, though in today's current solution landscape, a lot of the options that you have available to you include EPP as a part of their solution. Next, we move on to legacy endpoint detection and response, or EDR. EDR became the mainstay for organizations looking to secure endpoints over the last 5 years. It's a combination of signature-based detection, endpoint control, or EPPs, and a moderate implementation of machine learning, NGAVs, for endpoint security. EDR tools enhance signature-based AV with behavioral monitoring, observing system processes and actions for patterns aligning with advanced attacks like ransomware. They provide more advanced, sometimes automated response actions and enable more effective investigation and response to security incidents through a centralized portal and investigative tools. This is achieved by pulling log and telemetry data from the endpoint into its centralized platform for analysis, offering deeper visibility and advanced response capabilities through automation. Now, legacy EDR didn't come without its limitations, though. Despite their power, EDR tools required skilled hands to operate, and often come with a steep learning curve. Organizations can struggle to fill higher-level security engineering positions needed to administer EDR solutions, which leads to misconfigured tool sets. Analysts are often overwhelmed by the high volume of raw alerts generated by EDR solutions, each requiring manual investigation and often lacking critical context, really adding to the alert fatigue that a lot of analysts feel in current SOCs. And remediation capabilities can be basic or require manual intervention, further adding on to the time that each incident will take to remediate. And this is where the latest and most current comer to the endpoint security landscape comes in modern endpoint detection and response. The gaps that we're seeing with legacy EDR combined with the advancements in artificial intelligence led to this latest iteration that we're seeing today. Building on the heritage of AV, EPP, NGAV, and EDR, modern EDR is leveraging AI and automation. And modern EDR increases the likelihood of stopping attacks at the speed at which organizations can investigate and respond to security threats. It integrates the comprehensive log collection, threat prevention, detection, and response capabilities of traditional EDR with cutting-edge AI and automation. Modern EDR uses advanced reasoning and language models for advanced threat hunting, analysis, proactive prioritization, and efficient threat mitigation. This allows teams to do more with less, empowering analysts, and expedites response actions through automation. Modern EDR solutions also expand their monitoring capabilities to other aspects of the environment, like SaaS and identity platforms, through integrations with a centralized console, giving rise to the Extended Detection Response, or XDR moniker. XDR primarily relates to this expansion of integrations across attack surfaces beyond endpoints, enabling even wider visibility. So for the purpose of today's webinar, we're keeping this fairly focused on endpoint detection and response, and it's really on the endpoint side of things. But just to call out that differentiator there, XDR is really looping in the additional aspects of the environment. Now, why is modern EDR so much more effective than legacy EDR? Why is it the choice for the current threat landscape? Well, the advantages of modern EDR solutions are clearly seen across 3 domains: the implementation of AI, automation, and proactive defense. First up, with the implementation of AI, modern EDR toolsets utilize the most current technology with an eye on innovation as technology evolves, namely AI in the current tech landscape. Modern EDR's modern EDR toolsets utilize generative AI for the implementation and the capabilities of natural language queries, which enables analysts to craft hunting and detection queries without being an expert in that specific query language of that specific tool. AI is also used for noise and false positive reduction, reducing overall alert volume and mitigating some of the issues associated with alert fatigue. Next is automation. While some AV and EDR options have basic automation like automated quarantine, this is insufficient for today's threat landscape. Modern EDR's automation extends beyond immediate containment to assist analysts in investigations and enable more efficient workflows with connected utilities. This further implementation of AI helps lower mean time to respond metrics and reduce exposure windows by providing immediate data and context. Automated workflows can remove smaller, time-consuming tasks, allowing analysts to stay focused on the investigation. And AI implementations also aid in investigations through advanced correlation of events across log sources, building an attack story that helps analysts determine root cause, potential access vectors, and total scope of affected systems. While this data exists in legacy EDR, it often requires manual, skill-intensive investigation, consuming more time while a threat actor might still be active. And then finally, proactive defenses. Beyond incident response, AI-assisted tooling also significantly benefits the proactive side of endpoint security. Many EDR solutions include EPP-like functions for attack surface reduction, which is a minimum expectation for modern EDR. With AI, modern EDR customers benefit from collective intelligence through connected models, sharing indicator information across multiple organizations. This means a novel threat cannot remain novel for long, as other environments using the same AI solutions are inoculated after its first detection. Modern EDR solutions may also provide AI-powered offensive security tooling for identifying potential security gaps or misconfigurations within the infrastructure. These engines can attempt exploits, providing further assistance in reducing attack surfaces and prioritizing vulnerabilities, helping maintain security between annual penetration tests. Now, this is really fantastic. Speaking from a prior cybersecurity director, I remember looking at my tool sets and seeing 40, 50, 60, even up to 100,000 vulnerabilities or potential problems for me in the environment. Having an offensive security engine that is actually testing those vulnerabilities can help you prioritize them to take a list of 100,000 potential vulnerabilities down to a list of 400, 500, which is a lot easier to digest than 100,000. Moving over to our conclusion, just to wrap up here, the coexistence of AV, EPP, EDR, and modern EDR in the market can be challenging for business leaders, but understanding their differences is a significant advantage. Legacy AV and EPP products are no longer sufficient for today's threat landscape. While EDR options utilize machine learning, they often don't go far enough to fully enable security operations or leverage available technologies. Modern EDR solutions are the next iteration of endpoint security, offering key advantages in facing the evolving threat landscape. They enable organizations to run more efficient security operations, up-level analysts by reducing the skill barrier, and build stronger proactive defenses. In an age of rapidly evolving threats, it's critical to utilize a security solution that can keep up. Thank you for joining today's webinar. We encourage you to assess your current endpoint security solutions against the capabilities of modern EDR. If you find a deficit in your current protections, I encourage you to explore SentinelOne's security singularity platform for endpoint, cloud, identity, and SIEM, all powered by the most advanced AI security engines currently available. Now, I'm going to stay on for just a little bit longer just to make sure that we get as many of those questions that you may have asked answered. But thank you for coming today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.